Hello, and welcome to Bakerstreet.coasters. So, today I'm going to be talking about Scarefest and what would I like to see. Now, I have discussed about this before, so, that was actually this year, quite early on this year. So, now we're getting closer to it. We've literally got, like, how many weeks? 10 weeks? Less than 10 weeks to go? I'm not sure. But now we're getting closer to it and we know more information. I can kind of give my brief idea of what I would like to see and what they can do with the areas they have. It won't happen, but it's quite experimental. And also, I'd like to know what you guys think should be at Scarefest this year for 2024. So, Scarefest is a time in October where the park is open from 10 till 9. I mean, you get to ride the rides in the dark. But it also adds some atmosphere in the dark because you've got the lighting, you've got the different scare attractions, and you also have these scare actors or the actors which are around, which I think is really good. It is their biggest event, and last year it was so big they overcrowded the park, literally. Now it also doesn't add up to the fact that Daz Black was there, so it's like, oh, let's go and see Daz Black, and then it was like, oh, everyone booked, so let's open it up more. It was atrocious last year, but, hopefully this year it ain't going to be as bad. Now, it does get the most capacity in the park at this time. It's like October, I'm not quite sure what dates they are. Now, that is the overall picture of what Scarefest is. It's like been the last few years, but this year is different apparently, according to like Bianca and Alton Towers itself. They've said that is going to be their biggest event or biggest Scarefest they've ever put on. Now, I'm a bit confused in why they said this, because firstly, yes, there's been construction about the park, with new attractions, with new storage areas, with reworks of like in the depths. But then there's some speculation of, will this ever get finished, this construction? With the Project Ocean being constructed, we've had stuff like planning permission for Project Horizon, which isn't even started yet. It was meant to open this year, got delayed. And then we've got other construction stuff going on, like I've just said, in the depths. We've got stuff going on behind the Curse of Alton Manor, which is like this thing here. I have actually got the planning permission for this one. What are that thing? It's like a tent, and it's very similar thing we see to survival games at Fort Park. And I don't know what else actually, to be fair. But oh, and the rework of the Altonville Mine Tools, or the previous site of Altonville Mine Tools. I am very sure that's going to return this year, as work's been going on in that area, and it was going on in that area last year. They recently changed the name to the Skin Snatchers to Altonville Mine Tools, the Skin Snatchers, or to Altonville Mine Tools, Tiny's Revenge or something like that. And they had like a really cool thing behind it. They also had different stuff last year too, like Daz Games. Like I said, Daz Games, Don't Panic. That was pretty cool. You had Nemesis, Subterra. I mean, that was, well, I don't know. You've also got a Hex, which is going to be open, well, hopefully this year. That's what they've supposed. We've had videos of it, but, it's one of those things. Do we see it open? Do we see it closed? Do we see it closed for another year? I mean, it's all up in the air at the moment with Hex, and, after it being, like, August now, it's not open, pretty concerned. Hopefully they get it open by October, because if they do, it will make up so much more. It will increase the capacity, it will make it so much more to the theming element, and it's just a dark ride. We like a dark ride, especially when it's an intimate madhouse. Now that is clever, and it's one of the most intense ones as well. I mean, when you go to Drayton Manor, no. When you go to Legoland, it is alright. But the Hex is just the best one in the UK, I can't lie. But that really doesn't answer my question of what would I like to see in the Scarefest this year. So, like I said, with the construction going on, we've had some new construction with this one here. Now, they are going to use this area behind the Curse of Alton Manor as a scare attraction, or that's what we suppose anyways. Now, it's the same building as what we've got at Survivor Games, and I'm pretty sure, shout out to Towers Times, they've put it on here too. There we go, there's the Survival Games containment, which is at Fort Park. They also use that for a scare maze. It's quite big, but yet again, they did say they're going to use it as it says over here, facilities building. But, however, they've also said that it could be used for scare attraction. Now, I'm not going to say it's definitely. I know they've said it's definitely, but I'm not going to say it's definitely because stuff can change. So, with that in mind, what could we see in this area? Now, it's just a tent. We've seen stuff like survivor games. That's quite cool theming in there. It's quite noisy. It's got quite good parts. But you know, with it being behind the Cursor Ultimana, could this be a new addition to the Cursor Ultimana? Because this year they've also reworked some stuff from the Cursor Ultimana, apart from the Trommel Tunnel. Literally, why is that never on now? That just reminds me of Duel Days, when the tunnel just doesn't spin when you go through it. Please don't. Just please fix it. For the 2025 season, even for Scarefest, that'd be amazing. They also did stuff for Scarefest last year with Cursor Ultimana. They made it extra spooky. They did it all up. Now it'd be really cool to see something be adding on to this storyline, because yes, you've got the storyline at the start, which is like, on the 31st of December 1891, Mr. and Mrs. Alton held a party to celebrate the turning of it. I can keep going. But you know, yeah, that sort of pre-show, and then you get into the ride, it tells you a little bit of story. It'd be really cool to see Emily's progression into her like curse. It would be cool to see that walk through in it. But yet again, they don't have to, they don't want to. Now, that does lead to speculation to what is going on here. So could it be something to do with Phalanx, which can then build up to the Project Ocean, which hopefully will be open next year? I mean, it's just 2 concrete pillars at the moment. That's just not good. And if it is, then it would just make so much more sense. Like, where is this, what's his name again? Owen? I don't know what his name is. I think it's Owen. Who's the guy missing? I don't know. Who's the guy missing at Alton Towers? Where is... Oh, Percy. Yes, Percy. So yeah, that could really add up to his story, because at the moment the guys are just saying he's an Ibiza or something like that, and I'm there just like, yeah, right. But yeah, it'll be really cool to see a storyline to Percy with the Phalanx. Yet again, we've already got Nemesis of Terror. That tells a story of how Nemesis is born or reborn, and then you know, it will also add up to Percy being missing, because you know, as we know from the videos, Nemesis herself, I think she killed Percy, not quite sure. Or could it be that guy just like, you know, being reborn? The guy who said everything is under control. Nemesis is a complex beast. It's a moustache. Yeah, we could see him come back. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, again, if this area is here, could this be also used for Daz Games? Because, you know, Daz Games was here last year. Can't see much work going on next to the facility, next to Spinball Wizard. So could that be something where Daz Games will be there? Now, Daz Games does look like a thing, like Survival Games in a way. And because of that, Survival Games was put in the exact same building as that. Daz Games may use the exact same facility. But it'll be pretty cool to see what they do. And yet again, if that facility is being used, does that mean another attraction's coming this year? It varies, because, you know, that whole attraction where Spinball Wizard is, that whole facility there, could just be nothing. But, you know, it'll be quite cool to see that side of elements. Now, another thing which is getting redone this year, and it really did need to get redone, because I remember this, is In the Depths. Now, this is being constructed at the moment, and it hasn't had the roof on it yet. I'm just going through Towers Times to show you the... Hang on, wait there. I'm getting there. However, In the Depths is just another scare attraction they've done for quite a few years now. I've been at myself. It's themed around pirates. It's got this really annoying thing going, In the Depths, or something like that. And yeah, yeah, just annoying. Trying to look for the plannings. Where is that planning? Not there. And you know, it was based behind the it was one that's based on the side of the towers. So the pathway which goes down from if you keep going straight down to return the Dark Forest, if you go round, you come back to the towers. It's literally there. It's closed off at the moment, like it normally is. I can't find the projectiles for you guys. I am very sorry. They've put on so much stuff I can't even see it myself. No, anyways. So yes, In the Depths, as I said, pirate themed. It's a scale attraction. It was very cool, but I kind of rushed for it too quick. They told me to slow down. Some bits were spoiled for me, like the Kraken. I think it was the Kraken or something like that. Or was it the Kraken? I don't know what it was. It was like the squid guy. It kind of looked like Pirates of the Caribbean. But yet again, that really did need to be redone, because firstly, the wood was rotting because there was it was on a wooden pillar thing, and it was just rotting away. It wasn't very good. It's like, but it reminds me very much of the Nemesis of Terror queue line when it was left there for like how many years. And then you also have the whole layout itself. It just seemed very messy. Like you go into this room first, it's like this bar thing. Yeah, no. So it'd be really cool to see them to put a tent over, and that's what they have proposed. I'm very much looking for the plans, so I can show you. Ah, here it is. No, that's not it. There it is. I got it there. That is the plans for what is going to be in the depths, because it used to go up the stairs too, I think. I'm not quite sure. But, you know, it's just going to be one tube. Now, I don't know if this means it will make it smaller. I don't know if it'll make it less inside. But, you know, it'll be really cool to see what they do with that space. And I'm pretty sure that that is also a pathway. It's just been placed there. Because if you look here, it's a pathway. Literally, they just placed it there in the pathway. But, yeah, it'll be really cool to see what they do. I just need to put the roof back on because the roof isn't on yet. I did update it in my original video. Now, I'm pretty sure that'll be in the depths again because the theming's still there and the queue line for it. They've still got the props. I'm pretty sure they won't change it. It's fairly a new scare attraction, I think. But one scare attraction which isn't new is the Terror Tower, the attic. Now, the attic is based in the towers itself. Now, this stuff is still in there. It was a scare attraction quite a few years, about 2 years ago. I don't think it was there last year because I think the invitation kind of took over it. That's another thing I'll talk about. And, you know, the attic is really good. I love how it goes behind the towers. You go with the stairs, and then you get more like you're in the attic. Then reminds me very much of Emily Alton. And to be fair, Emily Alton's rocking horse was also in that queue line. Now, if I do keep that queue line, it's so well themed. Not even joking. You look at that queue line, and you look at the Rise queue lines, and I'm there just like, what have they done wrong? How can they do so much for a scare attraction and not a roller coaster? Don't know. Which is the most annoying thing. But, you know, it's really cool to see that they've put Emily Alton's and the dual rocking horse in there. That was really cool to see. But yeah, again, that is something which really is on a question of, is it going to be a scare attraction which is going to be back open this year? Because I don't think it was open last year. I don't think it was even on last year. It has been the longest running scare attraction in the whole resort, and that's pretty cool to see. But the fact that they discontinued it last year, and I'm there just like, yeah, is that the right choice? I don't know. It tells a terror of a tower. I don't know. But it'd be really cool to see it back this year, as like I said, it's going to be the biggest biggest Scarefest this year. So, you know, having that will also make it the biggest Scarefest this year. Now, another thing which will make it the biggest Scarefest this year is the invitation. Now, invitation I didn't really like, to be fair. It's like audio and that's about it, and there's nothing in front of you. I just think it's a shambles, because when you take your headphones off, it's like, nobody there. Where's the live actors they promised? It's not the best, and especially when it's just in a container. Like, I get you go through an elevator. I don't understand why. Why do you go through an elevator to find that you can find Dracula's underneath? That doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, that just no. Now, another thing which I like to really see is the Sanctuary come back, because hello, what? You can go. You can. So yes, another thing which I'd love to see is the Sanctuary come back. I'm very sorry about that. Now, the Sanctuary is something to do with the Smiler and how Doctor I don't know what his name is. No, Dr. Killman. He's the guy who comes along and goes, Minister of Joy, you need to make happiness collection and everything. And it was all to do with the Smiler. And I'd love to see it come back, because, you know, it will also build up the aspect of, they're retheming the Smiler this year. That would be pretty cool to see. But that was also in the area of the Terror Tower, so we can't have both. And that really does add up to when will Hex come back, because Hex is also another place in that whole entire area, and it's the only ride that won't be open this year, which I think is really concerning. And it would be really cool to see it come back. It would increase the ride capacity and everything. Now, that does lead to one last scare attraction, this year, and that is the dungeon. Now, the dungeon has been through a lot of phases, gone from Around the World in 80 Days to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory to the Toyland Tours, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory to then the Alton Towers Dungeon. Alton Towers Dungeon, it was alright, but it didn't really have a specific story to Alton Towers itself, which I think no. But it did have the boat ride. Now, we know many dungeon attractions had the boat ride, such as the London one, the Edinburgh one, I think's got it. And having the boat ride stay throughout the whole, time that ride's been there is quite significant for the park, because if they've kept it for the dungeon, promising the fact that they will also keep it for the scare attraction which they're going to put in. Now, if they don't, then what is a waste of land? What a waste of a ride system? I just don't understand it. Because then, does that mean they're going to put back the dungeon next year? Is it going to remain as a scare maze? Will it be rethemed to something else? I'm not quite sure. Were they getting enough money from it? Nobody knows. But, it's the dungeon at the end of the day. Wow, was the dungeon. Now, the question also revolves around is, in the original Charlie and Chocolate Factory, there was the whole ride, you go through the whole ride, and then you go through the elevator. Now, last year and the year before, that Haribo had Trick or Treat Town, and they were in that area. It was like the glass mirror place where Charlie and Chocolate Factory used to end up out of, but instead they've turned it into a scare maze or a scare town. Now, will Haribo come back this year? We haven't heard no news. And if they do, will they use that area? But then does that mean the area of the scare attraction will be less where the dungeons is? Because it would be really cool to see the doors be back open and go into that little glass mirror elevator. Even if they put projectiles in, who knows? It's not a glass mirror anymore, but it would be really cool to see them use that area instead of them using it for another scare attraction. But yet again, that also leads to Alton Towers' main huge line of, this is Alton Towers' biggest Scarefest. Yet again, if they had Trick or Treat Town, then that would make it the biggest Scarefest. And another thing which I would love to see in the dungeon is the old House of Monsters. I adored this attraction, and it was really good to see that there was an attraction for kids, and then they got rid of it when the world of David Walliams was there, because they used that whole entire area, even the Gangster Granny ride. And I also loved how, the Venus flytrap, you go through Frankenstein, you've got, this fourth guy at the start. They kind of discontinued this scare maze, and I was like, what's the point? No kids have got stuff to do. And, having that whole aspect, I would just love that in the dungeon area, or the dungeon ride. That would be really cool to see. But again, I don't think that will happen. It's very much resorted to a heavily scary attraction, or this scary event. Therefore, I don't think they will put up a family event, family scare maze for the park, as it is their biggest event. But again, that really does resolve around, will Hex be back open? That's a family dark ride, which really is themed around Halloween in a way. Because you've got at 15th Earl of Shrewsbury, 16th Earl of Shrewsbury, and the young beggar, and the cursed tree, and you experimented on this cursed tree, all family friendly stuff. Experiments, family friendly. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I think I've talked way too much today. It's just, I'm gonna go now. I want to know what you guys think would be cool in this year's Scarefest. Would it be Daz Games again? Would you like to see a Sea Babies Land, Sea Babies Scare Maze? I don't think that will happen, but we'd like to see Sanctuary come back. We'd like to see Tower come back, or have House of Monsters. That would be pretty cool to see. Would you also like to see, some huge bolts on, huge wooden pillars on David Walliams, and going, this area's getting rethemed? Amazing. Anyways, I'm gonna go now. Please remember to subscribe. I would also like to see 13 get its retheme, because I would also like to see 13 have its actors around again, because that really did add it to the park back in 2013, 2014, where they had actors around as monks, and they were just scaring people. Really cool, even in the queue line. They don't have that aspect anymore, and it's that's the ride to go for in the dark. Actually, no, Nemesis. I'm looking forward to Nemesis too. The actors around there will be pretty cool. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Please remember to subscribe, smile always. Tell me what you guys think would be cool in this year's Scarefest, and bye guys.